Thanks for that. All right, let's see. Standing items, status updates.
Just before this, do we want that anyone will scribe today?
Oh yeah, scribe. I'll try to scribe while we run it. There's only 3 of us.
Great, thank you.
Do you want to kick us off with what's going on with you? Status update.
Sure, I can start. So I'm working on the issue to stop writing the layer SHA files. I've just realized yesterday, as we just chat on Slack, that there are some tests that are passing, although I mean the current configuration, they're supposed to fail. So I'm just going over all of the tests, and I hope that by the end of today or anyway, sometime soon, I'll create a PR for this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done anything this week with Lifecycle, I don't think, but I do hope to have more time in the next month or two. I'm going to divert more of my time to kind of getting stack packs pushed through. So I have no, I don't think I have any current updates. I think I've got a PR or 2 outstanding for review. One had some comments from Natalie, so when she gets back, she can kind of take a look at that and see if I resolve those to her liking. Yeah, and then otherwise, I guess we'll be ready to cut a release once these last few sort of issues get taken care of. Anthony, you got any updates for us?
I'm sorry, no updates for y'all.
Okay. Emily, I saw you join late. How's it going? Any updates?
I don't really have anything. Nothing new.
Okay. Oh, Daniel just joined as well. Daniel, you have any status updates before we move on to the next standing item?
Not really. Sorry.
The next thing is release planning. Natalie normally does these. I think we're just sort of where we were before. We've got an upcoming milestone that we're trying to hit, and I think all the items have been assigned or and are either in review or in flight. So I don't think there's really anything else to add there. Let's see what else has anything to add. I know there was a new contributor picking up one of the ones around registry authentication and authorization, making sure there's enough permissions to do the things that we need to do up front in Analyzer. So I think they tagged it, was it in GitHub or Slack or both? So there may be, if you've got any guidance for that contributor, it'd be great to give them any hints to how you would expect it to be done.
Yeah, Juan is on our team, and I talked
Okay.
to him, and I told him
Awesome.
that he can reach out to me or in our Slack, or maybe tomorrow I'll have some time to pair with him on this.
Excellent. Awesome. I don't think I realized that they were on the VMware team. All right, I guess let me share my screen for the needs discussion.
You shared both
21.
of your screens, or
I?
just a
Okay.
huge screen. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, hold on. But I swear it told me I was just gonna do one, but let's see. Okay, there we go. That looks right. All right. Anything here that needs discussion? It looks like this was open 21 days ago, but just 8 days ago, Natalie added the needs discussion to this.
I think that we said last week that we'll wait for her. To
Okay.
see what
I wasn't here last week, so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And the other items relates to phase 2 and 3, and
Okay.
We said we'll wait, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you, if,
No,
if
it
you want to
sounds
discuss
good.
it
No, no,
now.
no. It sounds good to wait on these things until Natalie's here. So I think that makes sense. Yeah. We're still finishing phase 1, so we can just wait on these phase 2 items until we're closer to completion. It may be a similar story with RFCs, but let me reshare the screen again. All right. These are the RFCs that have implementation tagged on them. This one could be interesting to talk about here. Second. Make build layers read only for subsequent build packs. This one was open up with Sam. This is really, Emily, you talked about this needing an RFC, like the actual change to the spec, I think you said would probably need to come out of this. Is that right? Because we don't really, we say that they shouldn't do this, but you said there was something that maybe has to change in the platform spec or something. Is that right?
Yeah, Sam had originally suggested that since we already say that this is true in the spec, that we could do this without an RFC. We would just be enforcing the spec. But I think if you look at the suggested implementation of how we would actually enforce that these are read-only layers, it involves sort of turning the layer directory into a layer tar after each build pack runs. So kind of similar to how we're making stack pack layer tars
Right. Okay.
in the builder phase and then just exporting them in the exporter phase. So I think this changes the contract between builder and exporter in a way that isn't just, we can't just say we're going to enforce what's in the spec because now the exporter isn't reading these layer directories anymore. It should be taking the tars that were outputted by the builder.
Do you think there's any way that we, is there a strategy we could do to implement this and not break spec today? In your mind? Is there, like, instead of outputting tars, is there like another way to block access to that? Like if we moved stuff or something and then moved it, I don't know. Or is it not worth it?
I think without changing our user permissions, because right now all the build packs run as the same user, there's no way to artificially stop build packs from changing each other's layers. If you wanted to do it without breaking the spec, you'd probably make a tar and then at the end of builder, like delete the layers and then re-expand them. But that's like really slow and there's no good reason to do that.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. That makes sense to me. Okay. This one is an FCP, the minimum standard for docs in order to ship. So thanks for that. Everybody commented. I don't think there's anything else to go over there. This one is marked as blocked, so I don't know if anyone has any desire to discuss it.
No, this is still related to this blocked on a draft that I'm halfway done and probably will not have up because right after this I'm sort of going on vacation until I'll be back Wednesday. So
Nice.
Don't expect any progress on this until Wednesday.
Gotcha.
Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun with that.
Well deserved.
Thanks, guys.
The last RFC was the disambiguate layer metadata. I guess I'm taking ownership of this one, so I'm going to.
Sorry, I volunteered you.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, so I'll work on this probably later this week or tomorrow, I guess, to try to get what we talked about documented in the RFC and yeah, and just take over from Sam here because it's really turned into reorganize the file system, which is fine, but it probably needs some more detail instead of just like a snapshot of like what we think might work, so that we can actually have a proper discussion about the cons. I know specifically, Emily, you were concerned about changing kind of the purpose of the CNB directory in that sort of implicit contract that may already exist or something.
I think the reason I'm worried about it is because I think we'd like someone to be able to upgrade the platform API without invalidating all old build packs, right? But the way we're packaging old build packs, the build package itself has like CNB build packs in the layer tar. So if the platform then mounted a volume at CNB, there wouldn't be any build packs in there anymore when you tried to run.
Right.
So I think the ways to handle that is you could put a lot of work onto the platform. You could be like, when you create a builder from these build packs, you gotta open up and reorganize everything. I don't know if I think that's too much to ask platforms to do. So I think that means we can't have our perfect directory structure, and we should come up with something we can live with. Like we could go back to CMP workspace, and then for our workspace volume, and then the work that needs to be done there is just the work of convincing Steven to suck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we
Yeah,
could
we
come
can-
up with a different name for this that's not CMB. But I don't think we can use CMB without putting a huge burden on platforms.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll have to give this some thought as well. Like just as far as like upgradability, that's one thing. I'd like to understand, like if a platform is expecting to run builders from multiple sources, is it going to be a problem that like, is it going to have to know that the build packs live in builder build packs or CNB build packs or, whatever. Like I need to give this some thoughts.
Yeah, I guess my suggestion would be our lives are easier if we don't change the build pack directory.
I think
if we
so too. Like, yeah, your purpose there made sense. Your reasoning CNB/buildpacks is already there.
I think other things like CNB lifecycle or order, the location of order and stack, I think we could change those fine, because those things sort of get decided at builder creation, which makes them a bit more flexible. Or if a platform found an older builder, it could still pass whatever flags it needs to make that succeed, so long as you haven't mounted over the locations in the image.
One of
It's
the questions
just
I
build
had,
packs.
is it the platform that has to go like find the build packs directory in that case, right? Like if you found an old builder, like, would you, or not build pack, sorry, life cycle. Like right now it's CNB life cycle. If tomorrow it's builder life cycle, does the platform have to like go look for both locations? Or is there an invar or something set on the builder?
One of the things that we haven't done yet, but was probably a motivation around trying to get the builder spec'd, is so that the builder could have a API version. So then the platform could check that and then know what location to find things in the builder.
That's what I was, yeah, okay, yeah, I knew the builder API spec was, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It may be that we can't really change some of these things until we have that version, because I don't think it would be very fun as a platform implementer to have to guess where lifecycle is, since that's like your whole purpose of existing as a platform is to run lifecycle. I don't really want to have to like look for lifecycle in a container.
Yeah.
So until we have a version, like we can assume the current version is 01 or something, right? But until we have the vNext version, like I feel like it would be unwise to probably move like the things that are assumed to be in those directories.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Because platforms need something to make that logic switch on, and we need to define what the new locations that can be expected in the builder are.
Exactly, and it needs to ideally be a label or something, or an invar, something that's on like the image, like manifests, not cracking open the image and having to do anything.
I will say in the new builder spec, I believe, I can double check this in the PR that's open for that. We are requiring the builder to set the MVARs. So it might actually make things easier for the platform. And we could do something like requiring that the life cycle is on the path. Like we could introduce builder requirements that make it so that the life cycle doesn't have to do logic if it's a new enough builder.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Okay. That makes sense. I think that's all for the RFCs. I know I said I was going to scribe earlier, but I didn't scribe at all during that discussion. So sorry for that. There's nothing else on the agenda. Does anyone want to discuss anything? Or are we just going to get back the time? All right. Sounds like we're good. Thanks, everybody. I'll see y'all later.